Welcome to the Project with Sam and Lewis, the podcast with a mission to cover every project throughout pop culture and history. I'm Sam.
And I'm Lewis.
And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the second episode of Project Blue Earth SOS.
Yes, it turns out when we first watched it, we thought it was called Project Blue Earth SOS.
Yeah.
Turns out it's not. It's Project Blue Earth SOS.
We watched the trailer about 5 minutes ago, and we both looked at each other and then went, "Oh, that's slightly different." So
it's a 6-part series.
6-part, yeah, about 45 minutes each. So
we watched the first like a month ago or so, maybe
That's
a bit
right.
longer.
Yeah, it seemed to be people seem to like the episodes. I think when we talk about anime, because neither of us particularly know what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's like a layman's explanation of anime.
Yeah, but before we get into anything like that, how are you, Lewis?
Yeah, right. I've had like a ridiculously busy week at work.
Yeah.
It's literally been like so
This
intense.
is a classic response there, isn't it?
Yeah, this week in particular has just been like, I think like this is the closest I've been to just feeling completely overwhelmed since I was like a teacher.
Oh God.
And it was like a million exams tomorrow.
Yeah,
I was like, I'll take it easier, but this week it's been mental. Hopefully it'll go back to being a bit simpler next week.
Yeah, you've taken on extra stuff. Haven't you?
Yeah,
So
and we had somebody ill this week, so I had to take on extra stuff on top as well.
Gosh, yeah.
But yeah, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, relatively all right week actually. I've had 2 days off so far, so it's actually quite good. But don't work Monday to Friday, so yeah, I'm working like the evening tomorrow, which is kind of savage. But
yeah, that's annoying.
You know, it's still like a 7.5 hour shift, so it's still less than most people would work in a day, really. But yeah, went to see a band on Tuesday.
Yes, who was it again?
The Chat. Who we saw a couple of years ago.
We did in that like basement of a pub.
What's it called? Like Latest Music Bar or something.
I can't even remember.
Really tight. Now they're in much bigger venues, so they've clearly gone up in the world a bit. But yeah, good. Yeah, loud, sweaty. You know what you'd expect.
Yeah, they're
from
a good fun band.
Little punk band.
Where are they from?
From Australia.
I thought they were
yeah.
Australian,
Same. I think they're on the Flightless Records with King Gizzards.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
They're that kind of like they're in that kind of music scene anyway.
Yeah.
The up and coming, or at least it was at one point, Australian music scene. It feels like it's dropped off a little bit, but that might just be me.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. So good all round. But yeah, before we get into any other bits, I keep saying that if you want to skip ahead, you can use the time codes in the episode description. Remember to say it again this week, which is good.
Yeah. On a roll.
And we've got a little bit of something, haven't we, Lewis?
Yes. So, Project News. Trying up for the first time.
Yeah.
I think that was quite good.
It works quite well. We always did a little debrief after the
Yeah. But what I've done as always is Google the word project and see what comes up. The first one I've got is Avengers co-stars Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans set to lead Red Hot Package Project Artemis.
Red Hot Package?
Yep.
What is that?
Apple makes massive deal for Jason Bateman directed pick.
Wow, okay.
So apparently Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans have been quite keen to work together since Avengers.
Yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff where
not in the MCU anymore technically.
Yeah, we don't know whether
one's
Chris
dead,
Evans...
one's old.
Yeah, dead and old basically.
But yeah, they're doing Project Artemis.
Oh, so it is called Project Artemis.
It seems so, unless they change it.
Yes.
Those
MCU adjacent actors are really giving it to us.
They really love it. But yeah, there's not too much details. It's obviously in early works.
And it's
not
Apple TV Plus.
It is Apple, yeah. Hot off their Oscar win.
Yeah, what was
Best
it?
Picture, Coda.
Oh, Coda, was it on Apple? I wondered. Yeah,
There's lots of talk of, will Netflix be the first streaming service to win Best Picture because The Power of the Dog was the favourite.
Right,
and it was really good.
Yeah.
And then Coda won.
So they have to have a limited cinema release at minimum, don't they? Is
yeah,
that right?
I think so.
So
but
they just do a couple of US showings.
I think the Oscars have been reluctant to give a streaming service.
Yeah, but they've got to go with the times. They did that
Yeah.
weird voting thing. I don't. What did Zack Snyder's Justice League win it, or was it something
No,
else?
it was the other Zack Snyder one.
Oh, was it
Army of Dead?
Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
You never watched that, did you?
No, that's what
Okay,
happens when
yeah.
it's a fan voted.
Yeah. Or maybe it was Justice League couldn't be on it because it never got a cinema release. I think maybe it still had to be cinema. Anyway.
Yeah, so we're recording at a time. It's actually been a while since the Oscars happened because our episode came out like 3 hours after the Oscars finished.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, we recorded before.
Yeah, we're now Thursday evening.
We're already at a point where I'm bored of talking about Will Smith.
Oh god, did you see that? There was a thing where it's like this is a 4K shot, and you can see a pad on Chris Rock's cheek, and then there was just like an article debunking it. Like, there's other shots where you can't see that.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, my first reaction, we're literally now talking about it, but my first reaction was like, this feels like the thing that they would do to get attention because it's literally the only thing anyone's talking about, and if it hadn't been mentioned, people wouldn't have known it even happened. Because
I mean, I tend to keep like over the weekend I watched a load of the Best Picture nominees, I generally do. I think this is the first time in years that I haven't watched all the nominees.
Yeah, same. I didn't watch all of them, but I don't normally. So
yeah, and I didn't watch Coda, annoyingly.
I kept seeing the name, and I didn't know that it was Child of Deaf Adults. That's what. Did you know that? That's what it stands for, yeah.
Right, so I just kept thinking of the Led Zeppelin album, Coda. But yeah, there's one of the nominated films I was going to talk about in Personal Projects. I watched like I've got 4 of them, actually, so I can talk about them for the next several episodes.
I think there's one that I missed in my notes here, but I've got one to talk about. So,
so the other project news I've got is from Sky News.
Ooh.
James Bond. Amazon announces its first 007 project since buying MGM.
See, I saw this, but it's not what you'd expect, is it?
I saw the headline and I was like, oh, yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And then I thought,
was it called like The Road to 007 or something?
Yeah, so I first thought, maybe it's a TV series, not a film, because I would have heard about a film. 007's Road to a Million. Okay. It's a game show.
Oh, really? I knew it was reality in some way, but I thought it was maybe like, like behind the scenes or something.
The contestants will travel the world trying to complete challenges set in some iconic Bond film locations.
That is so lame.
And the winners will pocket a cool million.
Lame.
Like it's a true test of intelligence and endurance.
So it's like Ninja Warrior meets Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
But I guess that some of the topics will be James Bond films.
Yeah, and
it's like fans of.
Yeah, it's like, who's the expert? And surely, how much legs has that got as a series?
Also, I feel like there'd be a lot of people who. How much of a cross section is there of people who are like as fit as James Bond and know lots about James Bond?
Hey, I know a fair bit about James Bond.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were in the SAS as well, paramilitary.
Yes, exactly. But this is quite disappointing.
I mean, it's their first kind of foray into it. They can't do another thing too soon, can they?
Yeah,
they have to wait at least a couple of months before they start announcing their next project.
But I thought it'd be like a TV series or like a short series spin-off of No Time to Die or something. Would be
amazing. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I went to see it in cinema.
Seen it. Yeah, I haven't seen it. So I'm pretty sure I know how it ends because I've seen articles.
Yeah,
something about I'm pretty sure it said, here's a gravestone to mark something in the place where the last scene's filmed. I'm like, well, great. I'm pretty sure I know what's happening there. Cool. Some island somewhere.
There is another 00 agent in No Time to Die that's quite fun. They could just do a miniseries about her. That's
what I was, I mean, also what I was just thinking would be a good thing is like an animated series.
Yeah.
They could do something like, they recently for The Boys, they did a anthology thing, a bit like Star Wars Visions, where it's different animation styles and it's exploring it. So they could do something like that because that's Amazon as well. Just do like James Bond's in different, get people doing impressions of the other ones even.
Or you could literally do a 00 series of just a different agent in MI6 and
I guess
what they're up to.
If it was too, but then again, like Star Trek Lower Decks is also Prime, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, they're not opposed.
They
to
could do that kind of thing.
I mean, you
easily.
have to be careful that it doesn't stray into Archer territory if it's jokey.
Yeah,
because Archer is pretty much jokey James Bond, isn't it? Like,
but there's definitely something there.
Yeah, definitely.
They made the Godzilla series in the early 2000s based on the '98 film.
Yeah,
that's actually
I've
decent.
Heard it's good. Yeah,
and the film's obviously terrible, but this TV series is actually.
Isn't it like one of the eggs survives and grows up to be another Godzilla?
Yeah,
or Zilla, as I think it's called now. Isn't it? And then there's like the original one from the film is like Mecha Godzilla or something.
Oh really? I don't remember that.
No.
But yeah, they could do something like that, just like a little kiddie spin-off. Could be, and like the diehard Bond fans might enjoy it, and then kids can get them. Because I think that's one thing. They
just do references to old stuff, and people will be like, hey.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things with Bond as a franchise is that it only really appeals to there's not like a young new generation of Bond
there was
fans.
A series of books, prequel ones, and I read the first one. It was around. Do you remember when? What was it? Like Stormbreaker and stuff. Alex Rider, which they did an attempt at recently on Prime, which I don't think did very well.
Not surprised.
But, it was around that time. Like it was a young Indiana Jones kind of thing, and the first one was decent. It was he was like, I think it was just after his parents have died, and he's like in boarding school, and then he gets in the big adventure up in Scotland.
Right.
And, it was good for like a teenager at least. So
yeah, do that.
Just adapt that.
Yeah,
that'd actually be quite good. They should just adapt those.
But no, instead we're getting a game show that I'm not gonna watch.
No, unless they keep put Project in the name.
Project 007, A Road to a Million. Then we'll have to watch it
every
weekly.
episode. Yeah.
What? There was a TV series coming out soon, wasn't there? With Project in the title.
It was Lazarus, the Lazarus one. We've just stopped paying attention to that completely.
Has it started yet?
I don't know. No, we can
because we talked about when we did the film, The Lazarus Project.
Yeah, Lazarus Project. Yeah, it was on
just
Sky.
Looking out now. The Lazarus Project TV series.
I think it was early April.
It doesn't say on Wikipedia. The first trailer was revealed in February, but yeah, it's April. It comes out. Cool. We should watch the trailer.
I kind of don't want to watch the trailer because if we're gonna cover it, then
if
it's like 5 episodes, we could do it.
It's 8 episodes. We could just
dip into it like we do with these ones. Anyway, this is an off-pod discussion, I think.
Yeah, we'll figure out something. I definitely think we should.
We'll definitely cover it in some.
Or just for 2 months, we'll just turn into a Lazarus Project pod.
I mean, I've thought about doing that with something like this, just like mish it through.
Yeah.
And then we just get tired of it and just be like, fuck it. Like, it would be.
If it's bad, it will be really quite funny to just focus on it.
It's like, we're back again. Fucking hell.
It's episode 4 of the Lazarus Project.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it's like as bad as the film or as boring as the film?
Yeah, God, I don't think we want to. Well, we could watch the first episode and see if it's got like legs on it, kind of thing.
Yeah. So let's look into Project Blue Earth SOS, appearance of the Fortress Island, Metropolitan's X, critical moment.
That's right. The 2006 episodes.
Yep,
all of them are 2006.
I forgot how much this series loves their long titles.
Yeah, I had to look it up after because you watched the dubbed and I watched subbed.
Yeah,
I thought I'd just keep it going from last time.
I struggled to make notes when I'm reading subtitles.
Yeah, no, I found it jarring because part of me remembered like the voices, and it was actually the pronunciation of breast as breast, and I was like, no, that's not how they said it last time. So I wanted to watch the right one.
So Google summary for the whole series. For those of you that don't remember from when we covered this last month, or maybe you didn't listen to the episode, it doesn't really matter. I'd say go back and listen to it.
Yeah, because it's
to give yourself some continuity.
It sets where the characters are now, obviously.
But yeah, Google says 2 boys attempt to save the human race from invading aliens, joining forces with a clandestine secret alliance.
Okay, cool. I don't remember that being the thing last time.
Yeah, it must be the same though. IMDb 5.8 for the series, which is low.
5.8, yeah.
I think like based on last one, I think you enjoyed it more than I did.
Yeah, that was the case. Yeah.
I thought it was a bit long and a bit
Yeah,
like pseudoscience-y.
it is. I mean, I think some of the designs and stuff I liked last time, and there was some good moments at the end that kind of, it was like Star Wars meets Independence Day, and I don't really feel that this episode had the things I liked from the last episode.
No. So I won't go into like the director and writer stuff. If you want to hear that, go back to the last episode. What we will do is quickly recap the first episode.
Yeah, we can try to do that. I haven't thought at all about it. Okay.
So like it starts with a ship disappearing with some rainbow lights.
Yeah, it's like
they've got a new engine.
It's like a almost spaceship kind of thing. Yeah. It's like a jet flying on the stratosphere.
And then like there's these two kids investigate and they get visited by.
I think it's like 4 years later or something after the disappearance.
There's like a ghost woman.
Yeah, basically, the new G unit. No, G unit is the 50 Cent screw. G engine or something.
Yeah.
All the vehicles that are being tested with that keep getting like abducted, basically.
All that stuff kind of seems irrelevant, having watched
and then there's a ghost woman that keeps showing up.
Yeah, and basically when it comes to the end, there's a big
skip
alien.
to the end. Yeah,
I don't really remember.
An Independence Day thing happens, basically, a big cloaked thing.
Yeah. And destroys Metropolitan, the capital of the world, because the world is united.
Which is in like Tennessee or something.
It's like a futuristic, it's like a retro-futuristic universe.
It's like the Jetsons or something like that, isn't it?
And like we've got the main characters are Billy and Penny, who are two like boy geniuses.
They're both kind of butt heads in the first episode.
Yeah, they've got different like backgrounds.
They don't meet at all in this episode.
No, I think they do towards
maybe
the
right
end.
At the very end. Yeah.
We also get Lotta Breast.
Yeah, or pronounced breast in the original Japanese.
Who's a young girl who's friends with Billy. Her like carer Emily, who's also turns out to be like a spy.
She's a spy working for
Dr. Breast.
What's the company? The clandestine thing called? I've got it in my notes.
Sky Knight? No, that's the plane, isn't it?
Labyrinth Alliance.
And we've got Captain Clayton, who's like a military general who kind of went a bit mad after the
disappearance at the very start. And then James, did you say, is the pilot?
Yeah, who then comes back at the end of
the
first episode.
He used to work with Captain Clayton.
Yeah.
And basically, Metropolitan X is like, so it was Metropolitan got destroyed, and then Metropolitan X kind of comes out of the ground.
Yeah, they secretly built a second capital
like right next to the first one. Doesn't seem like a smart place to put it.
I think it was in like 2 years.
Yeah, and it's got like a very ramshackle looking dome that I don't think ever covers the top. It's got like a gap in the middle.
Does it?
So
that we basically get into this next episode and like it's just been destroyed and everyone's like, shit, aliens are here.
Yeah.
We're at war with these super advanced aliens.
Yeah.
And we never actually see any of the aliens. We just see their shit.
No. The only hint is the ghost girl.
Yeah.
She's related. She was kind of like a bit of a harbinger. She was like saying riddles about stuff crashing and stuff.
Weird. Maybe she'll come back later on.
And so there's something at the start of this episode. We'll get to it in a tiny bit here. But this kind of starts, it's got a bit of a cold open with, there's a lady in the shower. And I thought it was supposed to be Emily.
Were you watching the same thing I was?
Is that why you changed it? Because you thought, well, to be fair, I mean, it starts off and you see tentacles coming up the side of the house and this dog starts barking. The whole time this woman's in the shower. I don't think you see anything revealing. It's kind of like very carefully placed. The dog's barking and then you see three they look like big red eyes outside the window.
Yeah.
And then tentacles burst through and grab this woman. And
she's like screaming.
It almost immediately feels like some sort of tentacle porn episode, doesn't it?
But then like there's a big someone goes in and there's a big hole in the wall.
Yeah, whatever it is grabbed her and smashed through the wall kind of thing.
Yeah, and then we get the intro, which is, again, I forgot it was like that weird cheesy.
It's a bit like I think I said last time, like the Cowboy Bebop intro, where it's kind of jazzy, but it's not as cool as that. Kind of like the Archer theme, but also less cool.
It's like one of those kind of second-rate early 2000s sitcoms that aren't as good as like Friends or Gilmore Girls and
speaking of
like
which, was it last week when Doctors came on?
Oh my god, yeah.
When was that?
It was after we recorded. You stuck on the TV and Doctors, and it looked like the intro was like a sketch.
It looked like a sketch or like some sort of weird PowerPoint transition thing. If anyone hasn't heard of Doctors, it's like a long-running BBC sitcom.
I'd never heard of it until
Have you never
last
heard
week.
of it? Oh, I'm pretty sure it's been running for at least 10 years. It's like it's mostly daytime TV. That's why I was confused about when we watched it.
Yeah, and the acting was really bad.
Oh, yes, that's right. Maybe it was before we recorded.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, that's not got Project in the title. So yeah, so
Project Doctors.
we get
it's a briefing.
It's a briefing, and they're looking at the alien ships, and they're talking about how they can cloak.
Yeah,
and
which we talked about last episode.
Did we?
The cloaking and how light and shadows work with cloaking.
Yeah, that was an interesting discussion. But yeah, so journalists they're basically like, oh yeah, aliens are bad, and the journalists want to know the aliens' objectives, and they're like, we don't know either. We just know they're bad.
It's like it literally happened 2 minutes ago, mate. Come on.
Yeah,
and we see the UFO design has the same 3 red eyes.
Yeah, and it's,
so the thing wasn't necessarily an organic thing. It was and
it's Dr. Brees talking.
Yeah, with that, there's a UN general guy I think's there. Who, I don't know what his name is, but he's in the rest of the episode as well.
And journalists are like, do we even stand a chance against them? They seem so more advanced than us.
Because they're like, we can't see them coming, kind of thing.
And they reveal their plan to create an air defense system with Skynight.
Yeah,
but they're building a new ship.
Yeah, it's an aerial warship.
Ready.
It's called the Invincible.
And then they figure out that the alien base is somewhere. It's like near Cuba, because Metropolitan was basically where New Orleans is.
Right. Okay. I thought it was in like Tennessee.
It was Louisiana. Where New Orleans is.
Yeah.
I found out today. New Orleans has got a smaller population than Brighton, which seems mad. It seems like a major city.
Isn't it New Orleans as well?
Oh.
Yeah, that is strange. Yeah, I mean, I would love to. That's actually one of the places I would really like to visit in America. That's not like, I know it's quite a touristy place, but it's not. It doesn't feel as kind of.
Is that where Project Power's set? I think it is.
Yeah, but you don't see any of like the old town. Maybe that's quite a small part of it.
Yeah,
because all the stuff in what was it? I watched it was American Horror Story season 3, I think, is set in New Orleans, and a lot of it is that kind of old colonial buildings, which is what I think of. You know, when you see them coming down the streets and stuff. And also Preacher, I think, is set there and part of it. But
anyway, these journalists are like, we need to hit the aliens first, and then one of them also asks, loads of people related to significant people have gone missing. Is this connected? And I thought they were going to be hush hush. And then Dr. Brees was like, yeah, probably.
It's very straightforward.
And I was like, he's not very well PR trained, is he?
It's like royalty and like family members of presidents and stuff like that. It would
be like,
I think we see the woman so the woman at the start looks a lot like the Emily, the spy.
Yeah.
But it's some princess something is who
it'd be like Kate Middleton's sister or someone like that. That kind of level of.
Yeah, do you reckon? I think it'd probably be like Kate Middleton.
No, because it seemed to be relatives of notable people.
Yeah, but
she's the future queen of England.
Oh, okay, yeah. But still, I think it'd be But they're trying to destabilize. Well, I mean, if she went missing, I'd be looking elsewhere, because she's not really particularly liked by the royal family.
Which is so. We won't get into that. And there's lots of underlying racism.
The aliens invade, and the Queen's like, now's my time to shine.
Yeah, fucking hell.
There's only been one casualty so far, and it was Meghan Markle.
It must have been aliens. Poor Meghan Markle.
Yeah, I know.
I do feel for her. But yeah, so they basically say there's 72 hours until Skynight is completed, and they're like, the aliens are probably going to attack in the next 24 hours. And they're like, okay, Skynight will be done in 30 hours.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of set in that time parameter of like, you need to get this done now.
Yeah, that's right. I've got an update on it later on, but I didn't get that.
Yeah, it reminds me, I mean, there's a great episode of Star Trek where I think it's in Next Generation, Geordi, the engineer, meets Scotty, the engineer from the original series. And he's like, oh,
I didn't realize it was Geordie and Scotty. That's so funny. Because they're just both like places in the United Kingdom.
Yeah. But yeah, Geordie's like, oh, I always say I've got like, I can finish this in 7 hours. And the captain says it needs to be done in 4. And Scott is like, that's why people always thought I was great. If I could do it in 4 hours, I'd tell them it would take 10 hours. And then when I do it in 4 hours, I look great. And
Classic.
I'm like, that's a great tactic.
Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
term.
But yeah, so that's the end of that briefing. We then cut to Clayton and James.
Yeah.
So Clayton was like a mentor to James until he disappeared in this alien attack.
Last time I was confused about their relationship because I was theorizing that there was more to it than that. But I think
Sam thought they were gay lovers.
I thought they were gay lovers, but or father and son,
or both.
Or both. And then Clayton's pretty pissed off, and he punches James. That's the first bit we see. Just smacks him in the face.
He's like, "Why didn't you tell me?"
I think it was longer than 2 years. I think it was like 4 years.
I think you said 4 years at the start.
You said 2 years. So.
Okay.
Or maybe
I said it's 2 years since they started building the city.
Yeah, but it's probably the same time frame because the plane went missing.
Right, Mr. Pedantic over there, Samuel Pedantic. That's his name. And James basically tells a story about how he was saved by Sky Knight and then kind of was made one of their pilots.
Yeah, the
Labyrinth Alliance, saved him.
He crashed after, so he wasn't abducted, he was shot down by the aliens.
Yeah.
Crashed on a beach and the Labyrinth Alliance found him, and then they were just like, you can't tell anyone that you're around.
And Clayton makes a really good point of like, maybe we'd be better prepared for this alien invasion if the Labyrinth Alliance weren't secret.
It's so
he's completely right.
Or like have part of it secret still. Maybe keep the city a secret.
Yeah.
But like tell somebody.
People like, be like, there's a war coming.
Because in the first episode, there's a UN guy who I don't know if it's the same guy. I think he's more a politician than the general guy we see in this. And like when the aliens turn up, he's like, "Oh no, it's happening already." And it's like, so you were lying to people that it's just it's very silly.
And James he was like, if we join forces, we'll be much stronger.
Yeah.
And Clayton's kind of like, I'm not sure if I can trust you. You've been lying to me for 4 years.
Fair enough, yeah.
I think Clayton's one of my favorite characters in this.
The thing is as well, he's saying we're going to be stronger. Is it just Clayton that's joining? Because he's not in the army anymore, is he?
Yeah, he got like kicked out for believing in aliens.
Yeah. Even though surely that would be reversed now. But maybe he doesn't trust them. He's clearly got trust issues, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, his lover disappeared.
His son / lover disappeared.
Yes, / apprentice. / mentee.
Yeah, I think it's mentee.
I feel like we've had a conversation
We have, because we said minty. You said about toothpaste.
Yeah, what a joke that was. Oh, the good old days.
I don't think that was that long ago.
I think it was the last episode of this, actually. If you want to hear my great joke about toothpaste, go listen to the first episode of this. Like as jokes about toothpaste go, it was right up there with the best.
It was pretty fresh, I'll say that.
Oh, damn it. There's another great toothpaste joke. So yeah, then we get is it Penny and Lotta Breast?
Well, we see Metropolitan X and we can see the big craters, and it's been really fucked up. It's not completely destroyed, but
Metropolitan, not Metropolitan.
Sorry, Metropolitan. X. I've written X here, so I'll just delete that from my notes.
Yeah, they're like walking through Metropolitan, and they're like, "This is like,
this is fucked."
Yeah, it kind of looks like a couple of places in Eastern Europe right now.
Yeah, I mean, more cartoonish craters than that. But Penny's packing to leave because there's like emergency broadcasts, like we're all leaving to get to
and he's kind of full of regret of being like, oh, we could have done more. And I'm like, remember the last episode when shit was going down, he's like, quick, let's go there. And it's
literally like a fucking massive ship,
a city-sized
ship. It's going like this, pew pew pew.
Oh god, last episode was fun.
The good old days.
The good old days. Oh god, that was not nice to listen to. But yeah, so that and then there's like he sees.
So what's this? Does he see the ghost girl, or he sees?
No.
Who does he see?
I think it's went back Lotta.
But then he's surprised to see
her. Yeah, he's chasing some girl.
But I went back and there's no one recognizable in the shot.
Maybe it's just someone he knows.
But he came from somewhere else. He's from
he's
from Boston, Massachusetts, I think, actually.
But Lotta tells Penny that she's lost her sister. She's not really her sister, but she's like a sister.
I've got here, Lotta has lost her sister.
Boo.
Wee. What's the opposite of a boo? Yay.
Boo earns.
Boo earns.
So Penny's like, fine.
She's called Miusha. And she's 3 years old. And we've never heard of this person, which is weird.
And Dr. Breast is like, yeah, she's dead.
Yeah, they keep saying like, oh, everyone just tells me to just let her go. Yeah. And we're like, what's going on? Why would you let a 3-year-old just go?
Yeah. So they go up to the Breast mansion.
Which I think we had some jokes about last week. I can't remember. Last week?
The
last week that we talked about it. It was something to do with it being like the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, probably. But they're basically looking through the ruins, and then the dog finds something.
Yeah,
and the dog's found a dog called Washington has found a cat. We're like, oh, there's a cat there. And Penny's like, it's just a cat. And it turns out the cat is Miusha.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, she's like a sister to me.
Yeah, we're not blood related.
It's like, you're a fucking...
Yeah.
It's just... and he's like, I wouldn't have come up here if it was a fucking cat.
Yeah. And, right, so, like, then...
But the only reason that happens is so they can go off somewhere separate, isn't it? It's bad.
But, like, also, because of that fucking cat, this next bit happens. So then Washington like senses something.
Yeah, because last time dogs reacted to like a frequency that the aliens did.
It turns out there's aliens there. And
turns out it's just like last week.
Oh my god.
What was it? But how about aliens?
Yeah, it's just aliens.
We are an alien podcast. We promised that last week.
Yeah. Woo woo, alien.
Alien boys.
And then we cut, and Dr. Breast is like, oh, there's helmet worms near the mansion.
Yeah, which is a very strange name.
Yeah.
Well, the tentacles grab a lot of breasts, first of all.
Yes, and the
I felt like I had to say that because
they've nicknamed these little ships with the tentacles helmet worms, and the helmet worm tentacles grab a lot of breasts.
Yeah.
And this is a kid's show. And basically Dr. Breast sends Emily up to the mansion to check it out.
She's like, I'm on my way, and she's like rushing up in her. She's got like a spy car, hasn't she?
Yeah, and Lotta and Penny have been like grabbed, and they're...
Oh, Penny and Washington are both useless. Like they're trying to
Washington
do shit.
gets like hit away.
Yeah, I think Penny tries to like jump on the spaceship or something.
Yeah. And then Emily arrives, and Lotta and Penny have gone.
Yeah.
Washington was left behind because, because
he's a dog.
He's a dog.
And because...
I mean, people aren't going to go out their way to save an animal.
Yeah. I think there's even a discussion about that, or maybe it's later on, where they're like, oh, is Washington not part of your family? And he's like, yeah, but he's a dog, not a cat.
Yeah. And then we're at... there's lots of bits where we're in like the science Labyrinth Alliance.
Yeah, yeah.
And just like last week, they're like, all these abductions must be aliens.
Like, yeah, well, we just saw aliens.
Obviously.
So there's some clue about a capsized
could you imagine
boat,
the cast of ancient aliens if this went down?
Oh my god, yeah. Well, the thing is, they believe that aliens are like, what are they called? What's the opposite of malicious?
Friendly?
Benevolent. Benevolent. Yeah. It's all like, oh, the aliens will come get you and take you to space. It's very cultish, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like a bit of Scientology.
Yeah. Like, is there any connection?
Oh,
it's a different ancient Scientology.
I think it's a different set of beliefs. Scientology has a specific like book on what these aliens are and what they're doing.
Yeah, that was based on
L. Ron Hubbard,
which he used to be a science fiction writer.
Yeah, and Scientology started near here in East Grinstead.
Yeah,
weirdly enough,
in the law of the it's Xenu. Yeah,
Xenu. Yeah. Oh, if any Scientologists are listen, let me know. I want to join.
There's an episode of Ancient Aliens called Aliens and Deadly Cults from 2011.
Oh,
but Scientology is very kind of aggressive when it comes to discussions about
yes,
them,
which is why Scientology is not a cult; it is just a religion.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Did Will Smith join it? I heard recently.
There's been rumors that he's a Scientologist, but he's never openly said it.
He also talks about God quite a lot, and I feel like he's quite a Christian guy.
Yeah,
but I think you can probably try and maybe join it for the money because it's a really good kind of organization if you've got money and you want influence and.
Yeah, or maybe you're down on your times. You want someone to feed and dress you.
I think it's a bit of a pyramid scheme, isn't it?
Yeah, but once you're in,
as in like the pyramids were built by Xenu.
Yeah,
as one of his many benevolent schemes.
I feel like with every sentence, the lawsuit against us is getting bigger and bigger.
I can see a couple of laser dots on your forehead over there. So better move away from this.
Tom Cruise is my favourite actor.
We're going to cover a couple of his films, like quite a few of his films this year. Actually.
Oh yeah, actually, it's going to be the year of Tom Cruise
cruising
for a bruising.
I was trying to think of something else.
But anyway,
back to the topic.
Dr. Priest is like, oh, they've got my daughter. They're trying to figure out where the alien base is.
They're talking about the fishing boat and all that, and then I think they're looking at something on the map, and then Billy suddenly just shouts out, and they're all like, who's this kid?
Yeah.
Because we didn't know he was in the room, I don't think.
No.
He's just in the control room, and everyone's like, who's this? And then whoever it is, Breast or whatever, is just like, it's fine.
Yeah. And Billy basically points out this capsized fishing vessel.
Yeah.
There would be no reason for it to capsize there because the water's deep. Like, there's nothing going on there. So that must have been aliens.
And I think, is that where they trace or is that a different shot?
That's a bit later on. So Billy's like, I'm going to go to the hospital and talk to the fisherman off
There's
that
ship. There's a couple of people.
And Emily is sent with him.
That's right, yeah.
So then they're at the hospital.
And Captain Clayton's there
because
he's like, I wondered when you would turn up.
Yeah. And all these sailors have got like PTSD. They're all like
locked in a little bit,
and they're like shaking in like fetal position and things like that. And then
Emily
tases one of them or something.
Well, it's like a magic wand basically.
Yeah,
and kind of half shocks him, half just does a spell on him basically.
And it kind of makes him remember. And the main thing he talks about is that he mentions a big saucer.
Yeah, and he says something about Kin is missing. I think it is.
Yeah, he's like, where is he? Save him.
Yeah,
and they just walk away.
See you later, sucker.
And they're back at the labyrinth. They're talking about how it's such a big area to search. And then Billy says, what if the base is moving?
Yeah.
And it's funny that like, the best scientists in the world are just
But he is a boy. He's boy genius Billy, as we see in the opening or the trailer. Or
but he says the base is moving. So they look at where all these different sightings and stuff have been.
And it's all in a line.
It's in a line going towards Metropolitan X.
That's right. Yeah.
And then they hear the news that a ship is under attack at the moment.
Well, I think they say that this battleship is just like in the path.
Oh yeah.
And then the battleship just starts like shooting into the air because it's cloaked, the whatever it is. And then I think the battleship just gets blown up. No. They go, Skynet won't be fixed for 15 hours. He can't come support you. And then we see the base is cloaked and is kind of getting...
It shoots missiles and they seem to explode in thin air.
Yeah,
They're just hitting like the cloaked outer shield.
But that's a different ship then, isn't it? That's not the base.
That is the base.
But the base isn't a ship. It's an island.
Yeah, because they don't know at this point.
But how's it in the air then?
It's not. It's just really big.
Shooting... Okay, yeah, cool. And then like a massive fucking laser gun.
Yeah.
And it goes like this.
Oh
god, that was really loud.
You need to tone.
I'll turn that one down on the edit.
And basically the ship gets blown up.
Like the top half just gets like.
But we see it's become uncloaked a bit.
Yeah,
and we see that the base is actually an island. It's like big volcano island.
It's a bit. Did you ever watch that thing called like Noah's Moving Island or something?
No,
it was like a kids thing. It was great. I used to watch it when I was a kid.
It's like a Catholic school thing.
No, it was about like it was like a load of animals like Noah's Ark.
Oh really?
But they were all like talking animals, and they had an island, and the island had a volcano on it. That they had like a weird system, like in like old TV shows when they have like contraptions on an island, made from like palm trees and stuff. Anyway, they control the like exhaust of the thing, and they drove the island around, and they had adventures. It was pretty cool. Like I think Noah was like a polar bear. Also, it was like, a zoo ship. It's like Madagascar, pre-Madagascar. A zoo ship crashed on an island. Oh,
right. Also, talking animals with a volcano ship that's secret. Did you ever watch Dinotopia?
Dinotopia, what's that?
It was like there's like a secret island where dinosaurs didn't die out and they evolved, and like some humans crash land there, and they've got like a whole civilization where they're all talking and have government and jobs and stuff.
I did watch it. It was quite a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like mid to early 2000s.
Yeah, and it was kind of creepy. Like, the dinosaurs looked a bit weird, I think, didn't they?
I remember thinking that was pretty good. But I think they had a bit on an episode where the volcano exploded or something.
Oh, it was based on some books, maybe. That's cool.
Yeah, I think
the thing I was looking at was called Noah's Island. Yeah, it looks exactly like I remember it. Well, it's a shame it's not Project Noah's Island.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
So, back to Project Blue
Earth SOS.
The scientists are now catching up on what we know.
It's a charged particle cannon as well.
Yeah, and it's 310 miles southeast of Metropolitan X.
That's right, yeah.
And it will get there in 9 hours.
Yeah, so they've got to stop it. Again, like you say, we've got a bit of a time limit here.
Yeah, and the UN are like, if we run out of time, we're going to shoot a missile.
Yeah, they don't say it's a nuke, but it's a nuke, right?
It's a nuke, yeah.
Oh yeah, Billy's like, what about the hostages? Because they're assuming, rightly so, that all the people kidnapped are on the island.
Yeah.
And Dr. Breast is just like, I don't care.
Basically. He's like, your daughter is one of the hostages. He's like, you know, we gotta nuke the shit out of these guys.
And he's like, she's just like a daughter, you know. She's not blood related or anything.
Do you
she's
think,
like a pet to me.
Do you think if I took her seriously, I'd name my daughter Lotta Breast?
Yeah.
But Billy's
Lotta's actually her middle name. Her first name is Notta.
I thought you were gonna say whole lot of breast.
This is my daughter. Whole.
What did you say? Notta. That's not a name either.
Yeah, but not a lot of breast. Yeah, but a hole is just like kind of weird and gross.
A lot of breast is kind of weird and gross.
My daughter, Hole.
Named after the 90s grunge band.
Yeah, of course.
You know, who doesn't name their daughter after a 90s grunge band? I know that your sister's called Stone Temple Pilots.
We call her Stony, okay? I'm glad you didn't go with Nirvana there.
Oh, that was the obvious one.
But it's also the one that's most like an actual name as well.
Or Pearl is Mr. Krabs' daughter. Maybe her middle name's Jam.
I was looking up, I think I've told you before, there's that urban legend kind of thing that Pearl Jam is referring to certain reproductive fluids.
Yes.
Apparently it's not ever been confirmed as the case, but
no,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, okay.
Anyway, we're actually almost at the part where there's a break on the episode, so
despite the fact they're going to shoot a missile, Billy's like, we need to go save the hostages, so he just goes to the airport.
Yeah,
and they've got no planes because all the planes like fought when the ship first came.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And pretty much all got destroyed.
Yeah, because they were all fighting before Space
like,
Night.
Yeah,
it's called Space Night.
Sky Night.
Sky Night.
A bit further than the sky. What you went with.
I was going to go all the way to Moon Night, but that's
we'll talk about that later. Yeah, and he's like, I need to save Lotta even if I swim there. And I'm like, kid, if you swim there, that's going to be worth it.
You might as well just wait till it turns up at this point. It's going to get there before you get there.
But then a plane's there, just a plane's about to take off, and it's your boy,
Captain Clayton.
And then we get like a flashback.
You know, I think this is so. There's a bit at the end where they do the preview for the next episode, and this seemed to be something that I think we're going to get next episode. But it's Penny's childhood memories. I think it is.
Yeah,
but my note here is that I don't know what's going on, but it's like some sort of weird retro-futuristic astronaut launch thing.
Yeah.
And Penny, I think, is there maybe with a sibling that we haven't met. And they're like waving goodbye to some astronauts. And then something happens and then he kind of snaps out, I think.
Yeah.
So I think maybe he's got missing relatives because he's also, I think they're both orphans, aren't they? Benny and Pilly. Pilly and Benny.
Pilly and Benny. Old Pilly Benny.
What are they called? Benny and Pilly.
No.
I'm not saying. Penny and Billy.
Yeah. Oh, Billy.
Oh God. Okay, let's keep moving. Come on, we're almost halfway through.
So Lotta and Penny wake up after being abducted, and they're in like a void.
Yeah, like
it's
a
just
white room.
White as far as the eye can see. There's no edge to it, and they're like, "I guess we were captured."
Yeah, obviously. And then Penny says, no, Lotta says she feels like she's been turned into a fish.
A guppy.
Oh, it's fish on mine.
A guppy is a fish.
Yeah.
Guppy
is more specific.
I'm glad you said that because I looked at it and said turned into a guppy, and I was like, "What the fuck did I mean by that?"
Yeah, because basically she says like it's something to do with.
It's like a fish in a fish tank. It seems to be endless, but there must be an edge.
Bit
but you
of
just
a
can't
weird
see it.
analogy, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to try and find a way out, basically. Yeah. And then we get a little intermission
Clayton.
break.
So it's Clayton, Billy, Emily.
They're flying there.
And Washington.
Yeah.
Are flying to the alien base island.
Yeah, Noah's Island.
Dinotopia.
And then the other three. Oh no, the other two. Sorry. And the cat's there, I think, as well, but we haven't seen the cat yet.
Yeah, Lottie and Penny are like walking around this void. Lottie's like tired and like they've been walking. It seems like they've been walking for ages and there's just no end.
There's a lot of kind of classic anime girl moaning at this point, which is kind of very uncomfortable considering the character. She's basically unhappy. Maybe more with the Japanese dub, to be fair.
Yeah, I didn't know
it was very.
It was more just like, ugh.
Amy came home while I was watching it, and we had a little look at each other, and I said, "I'm watching something for the podcast. I promise."
She came in and saw the tentacles steal the woman from the shower, left, came back and saw.
Yeah, I had that bit paused on the screen, and then I had the other one there. Yeah.
She was like, "Sam, I thought you did this on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays.
Yeah,
today is Tuesday."
It was actually Monday, so it was well on schedule.
I didn't work with my joke.
Basically, there's no end in sight. She's tired because they've.
But then they see somebody in the distance like waving.
Yeah,
and it kind of reminded me of that bit in Finding Nemo where they see the whale.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of like a almost silhouette in the distance.
Yeah.
But it's like
it looks like it's going to be something sinister, but it's...
and or somebody we know, and it turns out to be just some guy.
Well, it's the guy who was missing, Kin.
Oh, that makes sense.
Did you not realise he was the fisherman guy?
No.
Because he's got like fisherman's outfit on. He's got like a hat.
But lots of ships have been capsized.
Yeah, they don't actually ever say that it's him, but it is him.
I'm going to go with the belief that he is the uncle of the Prime Minister of Japan.
Yeah, true. But then he would be in the other bit instead. Maybe they get moved there later. Yeah. Anyway, they're walking around and they start using... So he has a weird like knitted belt thing that like he said his mum knitted for him or something.
Yeah.
And
no, before that, Lotta spots something on the floor.
Oh.
And she's like, "What's that?" And she's like, "Oh, this is the food that Musha didn't eat." And that's when they realise they've walked around in circles. Then Penny gets the Japanese Prime Minister's uncle's scarf.
Yeah.
And like starts like taking it apart to basically make a trail.
Yeah, and he walks away, Penny walks away while they stay still, and he only gets a certain
and he walks into a wall. And he says the room's like an illusion though. You walk around in circles without actually realising.
It's like the thing we talked about with Blair Witch, where if you think you're walking, if you've got no landmarks, you can easily start curving in
theoretically, if it's a really intense illusion, it could just be like a 5 foot by 5 foot room, and they're literally just.
Although the only fault in that is that they didn't see the guy, so
it's at least like.
But they might be like fog or something.
Yeah, maybe. It's like I've never quite understood the back to Star Trek.
What they called the holodeck.
Yeah,
because I know that and you didn't.
Because they'll have people who go off into like different places. And
maybe stuff just appears in between them.
Yeah, I guess
it's hard like holograms.
But like, yes, it's just a room that you walk around in, and it all like changes around you.
Yeah.
But if they're walking away, surely they'd walk into a wall eventually.
No, because the floor
doesn't move.
No, the floor is treadmills, I think.
I don't think
I think that's the idea. It's something like that's happening, though.
I don't think it is in that, though.
I think it must be.
Because you never see that it just turns into a room and they just run around and stuff, but that never quite makes sense. Like, it works if you're just in that room and it's all kind of illusions to make you not walk more than a 10-foot space.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't quite make... If it was treadmills, yeah, sure.
How does the holodeck keep people from running into walls? This is on Science Fiction and Fantasy Forum.
Right. And have you got some
and someone says rabid guard dogs near the edges.
That explains the barking.
They show the relatively small size of the holodeck in the first TNG episode, Encounter at Farpoint. Data throws a rock and it either hits the wall of the deck and causes a distortion or causes a glitch in the separate zones of the force field.
Yeah.
Oh, there's diagrams and everything. Oh, it does actually say here from the TNG technical manual. There's a whole thing, but the last bit is substrate force field creates treadmill effects, permitting participants to remain stationary while the simulated environment scrolls by within the limits of the simulation program.
Right, okay. It sounds like the sort of thing that the fans have made up after to kind of make it make sense.
I mean, yeah, I guess like hard light things would have to appear between people so that when they feel like they're far away, the vision and sound is blocked out and they're actually closer than, There's a lot of... Did you watch... we mentioned Lower Decks earlier. Did you watch much of that?
I saw the first couple of episodes, but I'm watching through all of Star Trek slowly.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just get to it when I get to it.
There's a couple of good Holodeck episodes in
New
there.
Season of Picard's out as well, actually. Me and Christina were going to watch.
I didn't hear much about it, really.
People didn't really like Season 1. I thought it was fine. It was
I will get to Discovery. I mean, we're going to do Project Daedalus at some point, aren't we? And I'll watch through so that I'm up to date, because I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes when it dropped, and I did like it.
As Season 1 gets more into it, it does get really good.
Yeah, I've heard like vague bits here and there, but because I don't really know that much about Star Trek, it's hard to be spoiled. I don't think you
need to too much.
No, but you know, if you hear random stuff, I'm like, I kind of forget which one Discovery is as well. So I'm just like, when people say Star
when you get to Season 2 as well, you can see the guy that played Black Bolt actually doing a good acting job.
You mentioned him a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
And Season 1's got Jason Isaacs, who we talked about earlier today. I love Jason Isaacs.
I'll talk about that in personal projects, because it was a good couple of videos there. But yeah, we are back to the room.
When they get to the wall, they realise they've been walking, so they get to the wall, and then like a big hole opens up on the side, and some like robots. Well,
they're
through.
Basically like, oh, now we found the wall, we can try and find a door. And as they're about to do that, I guess because they've been like rumbled, some like kind of shit looking robots that are like floating come out.
Yeah, they almost were like Zeta without legs.
Yeah, and with like bigger arms.
Yeah,
kind of like almost like separatist droid kind of things.
Yeah,
some sort of version of that kind of thing. Yeah,
like the bigger droids. But yeah, anyway, we're back to the Labyrinth Alliance.
Yeah,
and then like now we have 6 hours.
Yeah, so we're skipping through the time quite a lot here.
Yeah, but they're preparing to launch the missile.
Yeah, so it's base is 200 miles from Metropolitan X, and it's going at about 30 knots, they say.
Yeah, and they get a message from Captain Clayton being like, "Don't shoot the missile. We're going to get the hostages."
Yeah,
and they're like,
right.
"Oh, you."
Oh yeah, because before that they're trying to estimate the particle cannon based on, I don't know what, literally nothing, because they're wrong. They estimate it's about 16 miles is the range of the cannon.
Yeah.
And so when they hear that, they get a submarine ready to launch these nukes.
Yeah.
And then they get the call to say, Emily's like, "Oh, I'm near the island, so don't shoot."
Yeah. And Captain Clayton, with them in the plane, says they can get through the defense using like a radioactive signal or something like that.
I think it's the whole thing that the dogs react to. It's a radio wave.
It's kind of like in Independence Day.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. Yeah.
Where Will Smith and
second
Jeff
Independence Day
Goldblum
thing then.
get into the ship. It's literally that.
Yeah, but it doesn't work.
But it doesn't work.
I mean, they don't get shot down. They get above the island.
So like, yeah, spaceships appear like either side, and in the first episode, we see like the UN like Air Force fly out and get absolutely annihilated by these alien spaceships.
And this is like a like a one engine,
yeah,
like little Cessna or whatever.
Yeah, and it's just like they managed to like evade all these shoots.
But also, there's only like 3 aliens at a time. Before it was like full on like sequel Star Wars where they were pouring out of the ship.
Yeah, and it's like these.
And also now Skynight is here as well.
Yeah,
even
James
though
suddenly appeared.
The last thing we heard was that it was like 15 hours away. How long?
No, I think they were building a new ship, but he's. Oh no, they were. No.
Yeah, so he must have come partly.
I think he said actually it wasn't complete.
Oh, so does Skynight get destroyed in this? Maybe they have to build a new Skynight for the next episode.
Maybe.
Because I think he crashes. Spoilers.
Spoilers. Oh.
Spoilers, Lewis, sorry.
Damn it.
Yeah, basically I've written here about how long did it take them to get there, because if it was 15 hours, the last time we got the 15-hour update was, about the same time that they left.
Right.
So they took fucking ages to fly there. I don't think a little plane has the capability. It doesn't matter. It's nitpicking. But anyway, then we cut to the robots.
The robots are encircling Penny.
They've got
Lotta,
like their
Musha,
arms,
and the Japanese Prime Minister's uncle.
Their arms are like kind of taser stick things that like.
Yeah. Penny jumps on a robot and pulls its head off.
Yeah. Well, I think he kind of crashes it into the other one.
Oh yeah.
But they used to. This time the robots are useless. Like how do? Yeah. And the hole stays open and they just run out.
Are so much stronger in the first episode than the second episode.
This is, and we talked about this last episode. I was kind of hyped for where it went, and then we thought, oh, maybe because the next episode's set on an island, which we'd seen in the preview.
Yeah.
We're like, maybe it's just going to be like a bit of a filler episode. And boy, howdy, how things turned out.
So they go through the hole and they run down a corridor. And they go outside and they're in like a rainforest.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, what's this? And it's they didn't realise that they're on an island.
They're on an island, yeah. I did think like we know that already, but
yeah, and then they start singing the Kink song, I'm on an island.
And then they see James, aka Skynight, or is he flying Skynight? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's shooting down UFOs.
And they get a mirror and start like Morse coding at him.
They're like, Lotta, you're a girl, you've got a little mirror on you. And she's like, yes, I do. Even though she's like 12, but she's still got to have her makeup done.
And then they signal James, and James like, oh, there's like people down there.
I think he immediately knows who it is, but that's just because I guess he's guessing.
James is smart. The scientist here that James has spotted them, and Clayton is like going to get him, and he calls Lotta Billy's sweetheart, and I was like, I thought that he was a few years older than her. I thought he was like 14 and she was like 7.
Yeah, I think that I think they're both kind of in their early...
I feel like she was taller in this episode than the last one.
I mean, it's all that alien radiation. It's just...
Yeah.
No, I think they're both kind of... Like, he's like 14 and she's like 12.
Right, okay.
But also, they also halt the attack by 30 minutes because the signal and all that.
Yeah.
The missile's not getting shot for half an hour.
But then we...
Oh, and Billy is like, no, she's not my sweetheart. Yeah.
Then the aliens shoot and hit the plane, and we see it crash into the side of the volcano. It's like, bye, Clayton.
Yeah, I think
Billy
when they're getting shot down,
Emily,
Lotta. No. When it's getting shot down, Lotta faints.
Because,
again, she's a small girl.
Yes.
And
then so the plane crashed into the volcano, and those 3 main characters are dead.
That's all that build up. The next 4 episodes, they won't be in it at all.
And the scientists hear that the fortress has increased speed, and there's now only 3 hours left. And they're like,
I missed that. I didn't write that bit down. Yeah, I think I was a bit done with it by this
very quick. And we go back, and it's Lotta and Penny having now escaped with the Japanese Prime Minister's uncle, walking through like the rainforest, and they come to a cliff.
Yeah.
And then Musha, the cat, runs off, and one of these robots appear, and they like run off through the
they
the
start
woods.
running into the somewhere. There's some dog fighting with James, but it's just not really as exciting as the first episode.
He can't really lose them, and he gets shot.
And then Billy wakes up in a cave. Washington.
Billy, I thought he was dead.
I thought he was dead. Yeah, he wakes up in a cave. He wasn't dead because Washington saved him. And we missed the bit where he didn't like the dog earlier.
Yeah.
On the plane, he's like, dogs. Because
so somehow weirdly
they crashed into the thing
and survived. Yeah. I thought when it was like the fake out, I was like, oh, they must have parachuted out or something.
No.
But they did actually crash and explode straight away because the dog pulled Billy out of the wreckage.
Yeah.
So
But anyway, then there's 30 minutes still until the missile is coming. They're in the cave. So they've managed to escape the crash. The crash has happened. They've dragged out into the cave. He's woken up as well. Yeah. And then there's still 30 minutes. So I think they probably got their timings wrong. But
yeah, and then they find a big hole.
Yes. Which is Lotta's other name.
Big hole on a breast.
Big hole on a breast.
And they conclude that it's like an exhaust port.
Yeah.
And it's connected to the big cannon.
There's a lot of just, this is what this is. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't really make any sense. And they're like, well, let's go blow it up.
Yeah. Is this, no, it's a little bit later, the bit I was going to say.
And Clayton's like, I'm old. I'll go do it. You kids go run off.
And then it cuts to the inside the kind of lab place, doesn't it? And we've got the hostages.
Yes,
the hostages are because there's a bit. There's a bomb. The bomb bit's a little bit later.
The Japanese Prime Minister's uncle.
Yeah, and it cuts around.
They're running from the robot that appeared at the cliff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then they managed to shut a door behind them, and they're in this lab place, and it's lots of like orange. It looks like kind of like back to tank stasis tube things.
Yeah, but also kind of like the tubes in Futurama.
Yeah, but they're
not going anywhere. It
looks like we find out they're kind of energy, gravity, tractor beam kind of things. And one of the first people we see is the shower woman who's still naked, but she's got the bars of the thing are covering her. And I thought everyone was naked, and then we cut to other people, and she's just the only one who's naked because obviously they didn't put any clothes on her, which would make sense.
Yeah, and there's loads and loads, like hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah, and then the robot starts cutting through the door, and then Penny is just like, let's hide in the tubes.
There just happens to be 3 empty tubes.
Even though they didn't know, maybe the tubes kill you, maybe you get put to sleep. I mean, Lotta is still passed out from the shock of the thing.
Is she?
Yes, they just put her into it. Oh. Because she wakes up later on, doesn't she? Yeah. And then we get an update. The base is 150 miles from
and
MX.
the scientists give the go-ahead to shoot the missile.
Yeah, Dr. Press is just like, fuck it. I don't care. He just goes for it.
Yeah, like Dr. Brest doesn't really have too many redeeming characters.
I mean, apart from his name.
Yeah, and he's kind of wasted that.
Yeah. I mean, he had the Breast Mansion. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he named his daughter Lotta.
That's pretty cool. I do wish that Emily had been Lotta Breast instead.
Yeah, it would have been a lot less weird.
I feel like we would have had more to say about
it. Would have been. I would have felt more okay with making jokes.
Yeah, I mean, we're making jokes about how she's not got a lot of breasts. I mean, how she's not a lot of breasts. Yeah. Anyway, there's a bit with a cat. They use the cat smell or something.
Yeah. So Emily and Billy are like, hey. They think the dog can scent. They find the cat, and they get Washington to smell the cat so that he can find them. And he like runs off, and they're like, he's got the scent, and they go after him. Yeah,
and then as Captain Clayton is about to go into the exhaust port to blow it up, James is just there. So I guess he got shot down.
Yeah. Or he bumps into James, and James is like, hey, look, I've got dynamite.
Yeah, and then Clayton opens his coat and he's got like 20 grenades on him.
But also, like, so the plan is to like set some explosives and then run off and it'll explode.
Yeah.
Grenades aren't good for that.
No.
They have a clear
I think he was gonna kill himself.
Yeah, but Even he's got like what 20 grenades on his body.
Literally,
and
it's
jacket.
like a suicide vest, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Do you reckon in 6 seconds you could pull all those pins?
Oh no, you just pull one and then the rest get set off by the other
Would
explosions. I think so. That's the assumption anyway.
Oh, okay.
But instead, they have a different plan where
they do put the grenades with the
they
dynamite.
take all the grenades off and pile it on top of like it's like a C4 dynamite suitcase thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And the classic dynamite.
But we don't actually see that yet, I don't think. But
yeah, but
we cut to the submarine is counting down to nuke.
Launch in 20 seconds.
And then the particle cannon's like and it smashes it with the other one, and it did it at 32 miles, and they're like, fuck, we completely underestimated its range.
Yeah.
Because we made it up.
We based it on nothing.
Oh, and it's over the horizon, and they realize that the technology they have can bend the particle beams so it can go over the horizon. So the horizon's what, like 30 miles?
I guess so. Let me give it a little.
What are you gonna say? Just keep talking while I.
Yeah, just keep talking whilst I look it up.
So I always thought the horizon was about 25 miles.
Did you now?
Yeah, I always thought it was exactly 25 miles. Actually,
the higher the observing lies from sea level, the farther from the horizon.
Yep.
That makes sense.
So what about like normal? What about normal? If you're just like pretty much on the sea level,
the horizon is a little more than 3 miles away, which it must be more.
It must be more than that. No, because you can see like France from the south coast sometimes. France isn't 3 miles away.
Approximately 3.1 miles is the horizon. What?
I'm looking. Yeah, it says 2.9 miles.
That's mental.
But they already said that it was 16 miles range, and they're surprised about 32.
How is it 3 miles?
I mean, if you think about it,
I guess if you're standing on the ground, this is.
Yeah. I mean, that can't be right though. I mean, it must be right.
Right. If you are on Brighton Beach, the wind turbines are basically on the horizon, aren't they?
Yeah, so how is it that you can see? I'm pretty sure you can see like France sometimes.
Maybe if you're up on a cliff.
Yeah, but
you can see further if you're higher up.
That is true, but
that is literally mental. When you said like 25 miles, I was like,
I was making it up already. Like I was just
I thought you'd already looked it up, and I was like, oh, okay, that sounds about right. 3 miles though. Like,
wow. What? Well, you learn something new every day, and I'm sure we're not the only people that learned that today.
Yeah, listeners, if you already knew that, then go fuck yourselves. No, you're very, very smart. You're smarter than us.
Let's see, distance between. I'm just gonna have a little look at this while we're.
Distance between what?
Just a couple of different things.
The base and the tip of your penis.
No. Yeah. So, how do I do this one here?
What are you looking at?
Oh God.
Oh God, what are you looking up?
I'm on some strange website.
Oh no.
I'm trying to look up the distance between Brighton and France.
Okay. Quite a lot, I imagine.
Yeah, you'd think so. What's on the this is not good listening, is it?
No, let's get back to the episode.
You just keep talking and I'll
so where were we? Yeah, so we the robot has got into the tube room where
that doesn't sound like a good
where Penny, Lotta, and the Japanese Prime Minister's uncle are hiding. And he's kind of going around and they're just being silent so you can't see them. And then Lotta wakes up and screams. Yes. And the robot spots them. And then Penny jumps into action again and pulls its head off because
he just
apparently he's stronger than a robot. But he gets zapped and grabbed.
It's about 80 miles is the distance.
Okay.
Wants to know.
He gets zapped and grabbed, and you think they're done for. and then Emily appears and blows up the head.
She's got like a missile, but it's a gun, like a little pistol. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
And so basically the other people have now turned up. They've joined up.
Everyone's together who's on the island. Lotta's really happy to see
Emily. Billy like goes down to his knee to hug Lotta and she's running over and she runs straight past Billy and hugs Emily. Yeah. And it's like, haha, she's not your sweetheart, Billy.
Yeah, and then Emily's just like, all the people, Billy's like, we have to escape with all the hostages. Yeah. And she's just like, everyone's dead. Yeah. Like, how? Because she's like a spy and in the first episode, there's lots of stuff that she seemed to know that, that other people didn't know. But she seems to know somehow that these people are dead. And Billy kind of frantically goes around and checks pulses. It's kind of sad. And he's like,
they're all dead.
They're all dead, yeah.
And Emily's like, they do it because they're different. And I was like, that's got some undertones you don't really want to go down.
Definitely. And she says like they regard us as vermin.
Yeah.
And Billy's just like fuming.
And he's like, such advanced technology shouldn't be wasted on warfare. Yeah. As if, they weren't about to shoot a nuke.
Yeah. It wasn't him that was doing it, was it, I suppose?
And then there's a big gunshot.
Yeah, the particle cannon is just blowing up ships, basically. So more warships are kind of getting in the path, I think, to try and stop it.
Yeah, Metropolitan X people are told to take shelter.
The shields go up, the dome
like the metal shield this time. And then they're like, the people on the island are like, we got to get out of here. And Billy goes to drive the alien ship. He's like, yeah, I could do that.
He says, I can fly anything. And then he gets inside. He's like, oh no, maybe not.
And then James is there. And he's like, I can do it. And it's like, oh, James and
he's like, oh, he can actually do it. Yeah.
I was like, how did they get here so quick? How did they know where they were? How did they know they were in that ship?
Yeah. And then Metropolitan X is almost in range. And then we see the pile of grenades and the bomb, which we didn't see before. It's like wedged in the corner of the exhaust.
Yeah.
And as the cannon starts charging, it goes boom. And it kind of just wraps up quite quickly, doesn't it? The good guys are in the UFO.
Base destroyed. They then give Morse code to say the helmet worms are coming. And then...
Is that a phrase you never thought you'd say before?
The helmet worms are coming. And then they're like, we're coming home with the hostages. And I was like, no, you're not.
I think it's just the couple of hostages.
But they don't say that. They're like, we're going to go save the hostages. They come back with 3 people. Like, we've got the hostages. I'm like, there's hundreds and hundreds of dead people.
All like the kings and queens are like, thank God my princess is... Oh no.
Kate Middleton's she got blown up. Is not coming back.
No. Pippa Middleton.
And Meghan Markle, both there.
Oh god.
And Meghan Markle wasn't abducted by aliens.
No, it's the Queen.
She's under Buckingham Palace.
Oh god.
It's like that episode of Toast to London we did.
Yeah, very slanderous, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then that's the end of the episode, and then we get the really, really shitty voiceover preview for the next episode after the credits.
Yeah. Which I've written down the whole thing. Did you write it down?
No, because I thought it was shit, and I was like, "This is."
Oh, bad. This is the voiceover to wrap this up. I didn't do the next episode bit. So the wrap up is Billy and Penny return victoriously from the dreadful high-tech enemy fortress, but they still don't know who or what their enemy really is. But it's aliens, obviously. Ancient alien style. Come on. It's aliens.
Come
on. Their victory will be short-lived if they don't solve the riddle. All right, Paul Dano, eh? Be sure not to miss the next episode of our super special sci-fi adventure, Project Blue Earth SOS. Then we get the credits song.
I thought you were going to say book for some reason then. Project Blue book.
That's probably part of it, isn't it?
Well, what you think when you're like, there's
I think
Project
that's
Blue.
Probably what it is. It's Project Blue book because it's aliens.
Oh, it's Project Blue, like an alien thing.
I mean, I think that's probably what they're doing.
We should be the experts in this.
I mean, we've covered now 3 things called Project Blue.
What was the other one?
Well, 2 episodes of this in Project Blue book.
Yeah.
Then we get the credits song, which I think you said, and then we get basically all I got from it was there's something about astronauts, and I think it's the same astronauts that was in. Yeah,
it's like the kids just talking over, being like, "Wow, that was exciting, wasn't it?" And I was like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, it's quite. I think I said last episode, but
it's quite jarring.
It's quite classic, like anime little wrap up where they do an out of character but in character bit. It's like out of continuity, as if the characters are watching the show. And it's like, it's very like fast and.
It's like, whoa, we just escaped that one, didn't we?
Yeah. It's like the Zeta Project thing as well, isn't it? Like, it's a little weird wrap up at the end, but yeah, that was that episode.
Yeah, so that was Project Blue Earth SOS.
Appearance of the Fortress Island Metropolitan X's critical moment. Yeah. What did you think of it?
It was fine.
It was fine, yeah. I mean, I still liked it more than some things we've watched.
Yeah,
I don't think it was terrible.
I think I preferred the first episode.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, the stakes were just higher. There was more going on. Like,
yeah, it felt very filler because it's like, oh, the big problem this week is that there's this secret base, and then at the end of the episode, the secret base is gone. And it's like,
although I don't think it was gone. I think the weapons just destroyed. So I think
there's no like long story effects on this episode.
No, I think they should have met the ghost girl on the island, and she could have been like, "Oh, I
feel like you could go from episode 1 to episode 3 and not miss anything significant.
Yes, but you still need to listen to this. The rest of us talking.
Well, it's too late now.
you got your download, bitch.
if you got to this point, you've already listened to it. Unless you randomly jumped ahead just as we got to this point.
We still got your download, bitch.
And you may not miss anything interesting in the show, but you miss some great jokes and some great talk about
breasts.
Dinotopia.
Noah's Island.
But yeah, I don't think it's not too much.
No, I mean, where do you think it's going? I think we'll probably have another filler. Well, we're gonna have a backstory episode for Penny.
Backstory, a filler,
maybe like a double or triple backstory where we get
it'll be backstory, filler, building up, climax.
Yeah. Sounds like my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights.
Your helmet worm.
It's got to be on purpose. A lot of breast and helmet worm, like.
Yeah. But yeah, it was.
I can't remember what I rated the last one. I mean, I think I'm gonna go. We doing ratings now?
Yeah,
I haven't got much else to say. I think I'm gonna go with like a 6. Like, I know that's kind of favorable considering, but I didn't hate it, and I like the series as a whole. I think it's kind of it's a fun little watch. I just wish the episodes were a bit shorter.
I'm going to give it a 5.
Yeah,
like it was fine.
Yeah,
I think what carries it a bit is the fact that it's part of a series. We already know the characters.
Thought you could say the fact we have to watch it for a podcast.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I'm just very kind of indifferent to this. To be honest.
No, I appreciate that. Like, I think there's some good characters in there, like, or at least the kind of impressions we get of bigger characters. Like, say, Captain Clayton's quite good. The idea of James is this cool, like, rogue pilot.
Yeah,
guy cool.
I wish we saw more of James.
Yeah, I think the kids are all quite annoying. I know that's kind of the same with most things. I think Billy and Penny are too similar, really.
Yeah, they are. I kept getting when this episode started. I had no idea which one was which.
I thought one was called Billy and one was called Benny. So you know.
But yeah, that is Project Blue Earth
SOS.
Which means it's now time for
Personal Projects.
This time it's personal
projects.
Right, so personal projects. I've got a few things. I imagine you do, and actually, there's a collective thing we're going to talk. Before we get into anything, Gilmore Girls is still great.
Gilmore Boys,
but I'm not going to talk into that. Straight in one thing that I watched, that I'm sure you'll be interested about, is the latest Ice Age film, number 6, released on Disney Plus earlier this year.
Little rat played by Simon Pegg.
Not in the. Oh yeah, he's.
Oh, there's a new one coming out with that.
No, that is the new one. The Adventures of Buck Wild.
Right.
Simon Pegg's the only returning cast member.
What they've got?
Recast everyone.
Wow.
So they recast everyone. Scrat, the little squirrel, is not in it.
Weird.
Who's like
couldn't get the voice? Surely that's something they should.
They lost the rights.
What, to Scrat?
Yeah, but I think they've since got them back. And also the animation studio that did the previous 5 films went bankrupt. So they had to get another animation studio, and the animation looks shit. So
wow.
overall, bad film. Like,
yeah,
like the main people like Sid, Manny, and Diego are barely in it.
That's so funny. Yeah, they did almost lose the rights.
Yeah, so which is why he's not in this.
Wow.
So yeah, Ice Age 3, The Adventures of Buck Wild, not good.
No, I haven't seen.
I watched all 5 like over Christmas.
Yeah, you had time, didn't you?
Yeah.
I liked the first one a lot. I used to watch it a lot when I was
the rest
younger.
are bad.
I think I've watched part of 2. Is that like Meltdown or something?
Yeah, and then it's Dawn of the Dinosaurs.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. Even though like I feel
Then
like I would
it's
probably like them in theory. I haven't.
Collision Course, then Continental Drift, and then The Adventures
So
of Buck
Collision
Wild.
Course and Continental Drift are different things.
Yeah.
They sound like they'd be the same thing.
No. Collision. Yeah, they
Do you know what I
do.
mean?
One of them. Continental Drift, they go into like an underworld where the dinosaurs.
So that's
are.
not Age of the Dinosaurs or whatever.
Dawn of the Dinosaurs. No.
So where are they?
Dawn of the Dinosaurs is the ice starts to melt and some frozen dinosaurs unmelt.
And then in the next one, they find loads of dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's like like a 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah,
type.
Journey to Center to the Earth.
Yeah,
Hollow Earth theory.
Yeah.
Basically. Isn't it?
And the other one, is
Collision
like
Course.
yeah,
Or the Continental Drift.
no, Continental Drift is like a pirate one
with
because
Buck Wilds.
no, he's in the one with the dinosaurs.
But is he not a pirate because he's got an eye patch?
No, he's just got an eye patch. He's like
really?
Yeah, he's like a meerkat type thing that happens to be living in this dinosaur world.
Right, I see.
Yeah, the other one's like a pirate one. Where I think that one's first because Diego gets like a girlfriend
who's a tiger as well.
Yeah, but I don't think we see her after that. She's not in the last one.
It's weird that no one came back. I mean, like Ray Romano probably likes getting the checks. John Leguizamo as well. Like, it's not like
it's Dennis Leary as well. Like,
yeah, like they're all people.
I think they didn't ask them
because it's cheaper.
Was
it direct to Disney?
Direct to Disney
right,
Plus?
Okay, yeah, that explains.
I think it was like.
But it's weird that they're in it as well. Surely you just go. Maybe they're in the start. Pay them a little bit for it.
Yeah, they could do a day's work. Turn up, read some lines. But also, Simon Pegg-Nick's like he's the title character.
Yeah.
But I guess they gave him all the money.
Yeah, but not as much as they would have given the rest of them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They cut the budget and gave it all to Simon Pegg. Also, it's Josh Peck as well plays one of the pheasant weasel things.
Oh, okay. Who's that?
From Drake and Josh.
Oh, right. Oh no, Collision Course. There's meteors.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm just looking at pictures of Ice Age.
Oh,
and so Scrat has a spacesuit.
Yeah, he gets shot into space.
And there's aliens. Because actually, in the first Ice Age, there's a UFO in ice. Do you remember?
Yeah, it's kind of that's his little side story thing.
But why has he got a spacesuit?
Because he goes into space.
Yeah,
I think he when he gets shot into space, I think
by like a volcano or something.
No, I think he goes to the center of the earth and there's a rock in the center and he runs around it and then flies out.
Right, okay.
I think that might be that one. And goes to space. He goes into like a space station.
So there is aliens.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of that, but I'm sure that's not really part of it, is it?
And yeah, he's not in number 6. So
still in space.
Ice Age
Scrat lost in space.
I wonder if they'll make another one. Probably. I'll probably watch it.
Yeah. Well, they're making Puss in Boots, aren't they?
Yeah, which I'm actually
quite talking about. I think off pod last week. So we were talking about Antonio Banderas. Weren't we?
We were.
Weirdly enough, one of the things I'm talking about mentioned Antonio Banderas, but because it was a YouTube video, obviously the YouTuber didn't know how to spell Antonio Banderas and wrote Banderas.
Oh,
and I immediately had to look it up and go, no,
it's Banderas.
It is Banderas.
So let's
segue into that. So the YouTuber Nando V Movies, who does a lot of video essays on lots of Marvel comic book movies, that sort of thing. He's been doing a series recently. They're quite long. I think I sent you one before, Lewis, that was Fantastic Four. It's like a fan casting thing. But he goes into a lot of detail about what he likes about the characters, previous incarnations on the screen. He chooses like a little comic section to like read out as like an animatic to like what demonstrates who he believes they kind of are. And he does like 4 picks and then does like a 5th pick of who he really believes.
There is a YouTube channel that I've watched that does a load of recasting and stuff, but I don't think it's the same person.
No, it might, because this guy does a lot of other videos.
I think this guy that I was talking about more focuses on the actors and why he thinks they'd be good rather than the characters.
Yeah, he does do that, a bit of that as well. But yeah, the Fantastic Four one was really interesting. I can't remember all the picks, to be honest, but most of the time I'm like, oh yeah, like it's not the obvious ones.
Yeah.
Anyway, he talks about, he's doing an Xmen series where it's the first episode of it's effectively like the First Class kind of thing. It's not the giant size X-Men, which is the ones that we know. It's kind of like the Angel and the Beast and all that. Anyway, and he did the recent one about the villains, so it goes through all the major villains. And you mentioned earlier, Jason Isaacs was his top pick for Eric Lenscher, Magneto.
Yes, which would be good.
And I think it'd be really good. And he talks about the part in Death of Stalin, how he's like a standout.
He is
part
great
of
in that.
And he's a Jewish actor as well, so it keeps the heritage, because so far neither of the actors who played him live action have been Jewish.
Yeah,
not that that's necessary, but it's worth considering.
The guy I was talking about, Brian Seeker, does a lot of recasting videos. Some of them are good if it's your kind of thing. Check it out.
It's a good series if anyone's. And he's gonna do the giant size X-Men next, so he'll do Wolverine, he'll do all that sort of thing.
See, I think Brian Seeker did an X-Men run, which was quite interesting.
Speaking actually of X-Men casting, I've heard rumors that Pablo Schreiber,
related to Liev Schreiber,
I don't know, but
Sabretooth.
I thought that as well, because
it's not the most common name, is it?
No, he's Canadian American. I feel like Liev Schreiber probably. Oh yeah, he is his brother.
That makes sense.
Okay, so maybe they won't go, but apparently he's in consideration for Wolverine.
Could you imagine if Wolverine was played by Sabretooth, his brother?
I mean, I can kind of see it. I mean, I can't turn my laptop round. But
what was his first name again?
Pablo.
You wouldn't imagine a Pablo being brothers with a Liev. Liev seems like a very like Jewish name.
It depends on the kind of picture that you get of him, but
okay.
But he's also 6'5", and I feel like to distinguish from Hugh Jackman, they'll go short.
But also, like, people say Hugh Jackman was great casting. The biggest bad thing about him is that Wolverine's short. He's like 5'3".
Yeah. So I feel like to differentiate from the Fox X-Men, they will go.
The only person we can cast is Danny DeVito.
Well, I've heard people say Daniel Radcliffe, and he seems to apparently know nothing about it. And I could kind of see it. And
he'd have to buff up loads.
He does do like mad and intense well.
Yeah.
He's not very gruff though. He can look messed up, but like,
yeah. I've seen people said similar about Heath Ledger before.
Yeah. I think
never write him off.
I think there's somebody out there. I mean, there's got to be I think they'll probably go someone who's fairly unknown.
Yeah.
Just so that we've got no prior.
You need like a short, hairy, strong guy.
Yeah. And basically what the Nando v movies are saying is the introduction should be this kind of First Class where it's Professor X, it's Jean Grey, it's Angel, Iceman, and Beast, I think.
Yeah,
so it's not
solid.
And I think Cyclops is there as well, but it's not got like Wolverine in it. Maybe he's in it, but yeah. It's interesting. They are the new one is like an hour long, so it's a bit of a, but it's not a slog. I kind of just did it while watching other stuff. So yeah, would really recommend it anyway. So yeah.
Cool. I mentioned earlier that I'd watched a lot of the Oscar films. I may talk about them on the next pod because I watched watched Belfast, watched Licorice Pizza, watched King Richard. But the last one I watched was Nightmare Alley.
Right, I was gonna watch it, but I didn't.
It's really good. Like you can kind of see where it's going almost straight away, but it's still really good. And honestly, I think Bradley Cooper should have got a nomination for Best Actor.
Okay, cool.
Like, he is really good.
Yeah, it's
and
on
like,
Disney Plus, isn't it? I was gonna
that's
check
what
it out. I watched something else instead, which I'll talk about next. But yeah,
it is
because it's Guillermo del Toro, isn't it?
Yeah, I do like Guillermo del Toro, and he does kind of just do all sorts of random.
Is it his classic kind of weirdness, or is it a bit more straight? Without spoiling anything, I guess.
It's not like
not super wacky.
It's not magic or anything.
No.
It is played straight.
Right.
But it's set in like the 1920s.
Yeah, it's like a noir kind of thriller.
Yeah, and it's like freak show stuff.
Oh, is it? Okay. So there is some kind of weirdness there.
Yeah,
but grounded.
Yeah. So
I never watched Shape of Water, which
Shape of Water's good.
Which I heard good. I mean, everyone took the piss out of like, oh, Sally Hawkins fucks a fish film, but like it didn't win Best Picture.
Best Picture,
yeah. So it can't be that silly, can it?
The basic thing is Bradley Cooper gets a job at like a freak show,
right?
Gradually improves stuff and then goes off on his own, and it kind of evolves. But Bradley Cooper's really good. It's got quite a lot of people in it as well. Like his girlfriend
Kate Blanchett's in it.
Kate Blanchett's in it. Rooney Mara, Willem Dafoe.
Oh, cool.
He plays like the guy that runs the freak show. Of course he does.
You know what? That's so weird because I think I've mentioned it on here, but if not, it's the videos where like so and so talks about their roles, and it's like Vanity Fair, one of those kind of new types of interview videos. There's an amazing one of Willem Dafoe from just pre No Way Home, I think before it was confirmed.
Right.
And he talks about everything. He talks really fondly about Spider-Man, the reasons he did it. Really, really good watch, about 70 minutes. And towards the end, he says, why don't they do a circus film? Like, I'd love to be in a circus film. And, lo and behold, I'm guessing this is kind of his version of that.
He's not in it for most. He's only kind of in the first act, but he's good.
He does a lot of stuff that goes under the radar, I think, Willem Dafoe. Like, there was an Oscar Isaac film, which is almost where we're going next, but Oscar Isaac film called The Card Counter that he was in, apparently.
Yeah. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd recommend Nightmare Alley. I think of the Best Picture nominees, I think Power of the Dog was my favourite.
Yeah.
June was up there, and then I think Nightmare Alley.
Cool. Did you watch any of the animated Best Picture films?
Yes.
Did you watch Turning Red?
No.
Okay, I watched Turning Red.
Good.
Are you going to watch it? Because we might as well wait. We can talk about it together.
I probably will, but probably not anytime soon. So if you could give a non-spoilery review.
Did you watch Luca?
No.
I'd like that as well.
I think it's the only Pixar one I haven't.
It's kind of similar vibes. It's very like kind of coming of age, early teen, late childhood kind of thing. Wholesome.
Yeah,
good kind
Pixar.
Of cultural representation.
Yeah,
one was Italians, this one's Chinese people in Canada. It's good. There's some stuff that I think you'll like particularly. There's some, it's good. It's good. I'm not going to go into too much else. I was kind of hoping that was one of the ones you'd watch.
The other Best Picture animated ones, I have seen Encanto and I have seen Mitch and the Machines.
Yeah, I've seen both of them as well.
They were both pretty. I thought
Encanto.
We talked about it on here actually.
Encanto. Yeah, I think you watched it a couple of months.
Yeah, and Mitch and the Machines was pretty good.
Mitch and the Machines was early 2021.
Yeah.
2021, sorry.
But yeah, I'd like to talk about the other ones, but we're running out of so much time.
We can save some,
And I feel like we want to talk about
Moon Knight.
Obviously, you've been reading comics, and I've kind of gone into it fairly blind.
Yeah, I said to Amy after the episode, so first of all, I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was very good.
I thought it was great.
I've done that thing which I kind of wish I hadn't done, where you get really invested in the source material and then you it's a bit of an affront to your expectations. And I know that's kind of what you were trying to avoid in some ways, kind of thing, by going in blind. I think it's just you just have to see it as a different interpretation of it.
Yeah.
And it may well may well sort itself out and go back to more what I'm expecting.
Am I right that in the comics, is it Stephen the main is like not a gift. He's like a millionaire.
He's like the Bruce Wayne, basically.
Yeah.
He's his Bruce Wayne personality, which is why I'm thinking, and the fact that, I mean, there's a lot of criticism of the accent. I think most of the time it's fine.
I think so. And do you know what? I thought he sounded a lot like Simon Pegg. Like, it's that kind of
very
London
like,
accent.
It's South London, Essex, even like Sussex kind of accent.
Yeah.
So it's very
like,
much
not like chavvy side of like South London, more like middle class South London.
Yeah, sorry, South England rather than South. Yeah. So London, and I think because all the other people that he meets have very exaggerated English accents, as you kind of do with these things. Like the women he works with they're pretty much like blimey corkers, all this kind of stuff. So it doesn't feel. There's a couple of bits where, because he's not a native speaker, there's certain words he cuts off weirdly. Yeah, and you notice that. But people comparing it to like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. Like it's good. It's a good accent.
It's nothing like. And I think the other thing is Don Cheadle's accent in Ocean's 11 or Ocean's 12. That is terrible.
That is terrible.
This isn't on that level.
No, and I think I was a bit frustrated because it's an intro episode. It takes a while to get going, and when it kind of hits the stride that I was hoping for, it ends because it's first episode.
Although I really liked the way they shot like the action scenes of you see him in a situation and then waking up and there's just dead bodies around him. The first time it happens
where he's got the scarab with just like the blood on it and he's just like, sorry.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And then it does it in like the
car
chase. And then finally that bit where he's locked in the bathroom and he's got the mirrors either
amazing
side.
Talking to himself. Great. Because the first few times that happens, I kind of vaguely knew what was going on, but you know, as an audience member, you don't really know, and then it just kind of The other thing that kind of I say bugged me, but because he's got dissociative identity disorder, he can't really. He's an unreliable narrator, and we're viewing it through his eyes. I don't know how much of what we're seeing is exactly as it going. Basically, the costume is normally a costume. It's like a Batman style costume.
Yeah, whereas this it was like Loki kind of appearing.
Yeah, and that's very MCU suit because they do the whole helmet goes back. But
I did think the costume looked really good.
It looks really good, and it has this kind of mummified ancient Egyptian look, which I think translates better than just a white hooded Batman suit.
Yeah.
So I can see why they did that, but
and it kind of makes sense. Like if it's a costume, why would Steven be carrying it around everywhere?
Yeah, I think the explanation I've seen from people is that maybe it's like an extra personality that has happened kind of thing, and he's not actually wearing it. It's just the way that he views himself when he gets in that personality kind of thing. Another thing is that there's another personality. This probably isn't a spoiler, and called Jake Lockley.
I've heard of Jake.
And Jake Lockley is like a cabbie who is sometimes English. I'm pretty sure. So it's kind of confusing.
A theory that when he's in that bathroom, there's obviously mirrors either side, and on one side it's Moonlight being like, let me take over. And on the other side isn't him, but it is somebody else. And I've seen some people like, that's Jake Lockley.
In his room at home, he has 3 mirrors in front of him. So there is 3.
Yeah, I think in the credits, you see his face distorted into 3 people as well.
Yeah.
So I think they probably will do Jake.
I think what they'll probably do, I think maybe the Stephen Grant that we see is like, he's had some bad reaction to something and he's kind of almost in hiding, and he's maybe doing this weird fake life that he's got. Maybe by the end of it will kind of go back to some sort of more how people expect Moon Knight to be, maybe. But even not like the way it was it's good mystery, it was well paced.
I love things
I say these are criticisms, it's literally just like the very surface.
I love things
stuff.
like him trying to stay awake and repeating stuff, and then suddenly he wakes up and he's in the Alps
and his jaw was just like disconnected.
And it's just like,
and Ethan Hawke with all the glass bit at the start. Oh, I was like, what the fuck? When it was, I was just like, yuck, yeah. And he had like the weird, like, say he's almost like the avatar of a different god kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the bit with like the lift where the Khonshu god is like coming towards him. It's very cool. Yeah, I'm very excited by it all.
I saw one thing as well because he seems to know a lot about Egypt and thinks himself as a tour guide. And I saw where he's explained to the little girl about how they'd get a hook and pull out all the organs and just leave the brain. Apparently he's got that wrong, and Egyptians actually cut in the side and pulled them out, and only hooked like the brain
out.
So but I think that kind of works that because he got it wrong. He's not an expert.
Well, that's the thing, because even the versions of Moon Knight that I've kind of read, like, so I've read some of the early stuff and then kind of skipped a lot of the middle stuff because, you know, I'm used to reading modern comics, and reading comics from the 70s and early 80s is kind of a bit of a slog sometimes. And where he is now, like, he's not an expert on Egyptology. He knows about this one god who's like weirdly invaded his brain.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of been forced to. Like, it's like you say, he's not really part of his thing. It's part of this weird cover that he's been living for maybe like 2 weeks. We don't even know.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, if he's skipping time, how has he held down that job? Unless that's the first time it's happened, like, majorly.
Surely he's so tired.
Yeah, I mean, I like that he's just falling asleep on the bus.
Is falling asleep whilst Moon Knight is doing stuff.
Yeah, because we see stuff like he didn't know he was asked out on the date and stuff. Because that must be Mark Spector, who's the main one. Yeah. I don't know, but
well, I was looking at the Moon Knight subreddit to read this. I saw a great comic panel of it was Moon Knight and Spider-Man, and Moon Knight being like, "Hey, what did I miss?" And Spider-Man's like, "Gamora's got the Infinity Gauntlet. We don't know what's gonna happen next. Just punch whoever I'm gonna punch." And then Moon Knight's like, "Who's Gamora?" And it's like he just missed a chunk, and I'm like, I quite like that.
Yeah, it's something interesting that I didn't really pick up from the comics that I read, where the kind of missing time thing, because I think a lot of what I've read, the personalities have kind of come to an agreement, so I think they kind of clue each other in of what's going on.
I think I saw as well that like Mark and Jake can both take on the Moon Knight persona.
Yeah, because
there's like a detective-y persona. Well,
Moon Knight, Jake is kind of like so basically, if you think with Batman, it's, you know, Matches Malone is like he's got like a street level thing where he puts a weird mask on and goes, that's Jake Lockley. So he's like, he has the underworld connections.
Yeah.
He used to be the guy, he would, like Robert Pattinson's Batman, he'd take his costume off, get in a cab and drive home as Jake Lockley with a fake mustache on, which is so dumb. And then Stephen Grant would be the public facing persona that would make the money with stocks and stuff. And then Mark Spector was the real one of him, who was also Moon Knight. So it's like Mark Spector is Moon Knight, and then the other two are different people. But they're all kind of just...
I think I read at times in the comics like Jake can be Moon Knight.
I think sometimes at one point he gets rid of Mark Spector, and then Jake is the main one. Yeah.
And there's another like detective version of Moon Knight where he's not going on fighting.
Mr. Knight. Yeah.
Mr. Knight. Yeah. He works with the police and stuff.
Yeah. So what it was it's a bit like with Batman, where he got to the point where he wasn't allowed near stuff. So he just puts on a suit. And he's like, "Oh no, I'm not Moon Knight, I'm Mr. Knight." And they're like, "Okay, come on in." And it's like a loophole for the police. It's like Jim Gordon letting him in. And he also he has a thing recently where he has the Midnight Mission, which is like, because basically Khonshu is the god of travelers at night, which is very specific. So he's supposed to look after anyone who's out on the streets at night. So that's what his role is, basically. Right. And the Midnight Mission is like a base, but he sits there and he has like an office with like Egyptian decoration, and he sits there as Mr. Knight, and he's like, "So tell me your problems." And someone comes in and is like, "My grand's gone missing," and he's like, "Right, I'll go do it." It's like Jessica Jones kind of stuff. It's very silly.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode. I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point. Maybe not next episode, but
maybe
the episode
skip a
after.
Couple. See how it goes.
I think we're planning on recording before the next episode comes out.
We'll do. Yeah, because we've got a couple of holidays coming up, haven't we? Yeah. That'd be cool though. We can have some double trouble.
Double trouble. I think that may just be the episode.
I think that's the episode. So I'll have to find the little thing that I read here. But mainly, I just want to say, basically, thank you very much for listening. And if you do have any people that you think might want to listen to this episode as well, it'd be amazing if you shared it with them and sent it to, friends, enemies, lovers, aliens, breasts, Can't think of anything else there.
Nice.
Reviews are also helpful, aren't they, Lewis?
Yeah, so like it really does go quite a long way to help us on our way. Or it literally takes a couple of seconds on your podcast listening device. Just go give us 5 stars and that'll be that. So yeah, that's that. But you can get in contact with us directly, can't you?
You can indeed. So if you want to send us an email, you can send an email. If you want to send us an email, you can email us at theprojectpod@gmail.com. If you want to send us anything on social medias, follow us, find out when episodes are dropping, etc. You can find all the social medias in the link tree in the episode description, or search the Project for the Project Pod on all social medias.
Yeah, so thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
And I shall hear you next week.
I will see you on the other side of Noah's Island in Dinotopia at the Breast Mansion.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Can't think of anything funny to say.